Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about the top reasons that I love personally hunting in a big woods wilderness type setting when I'm hunting deer each rifle season. For those of you that have been following my channel for a little while, you guys know that I do own private land. I do some bow hunting elsewhere around food plots and things like that. But during the gun season, we go up to our really cool kind of off-grid rustic deer camp, old-fashioned deer camp up in northeastern Minnesota. And it's just a really special time of year for us. It's a tradition that my dad started with his friends years ago. And I was lucky to be born into a family that does this. My brother and I get to go up there every year with my dad and some friends. And it's just a really cool, off-grid cabin with no running water or no electricity. The cell service is terrible up there, and that's probably a good thing. So it really feels like you're in that true deer camp mode. And so I just wanted to share with you guys the top reasons why we choose to go back there every year. For those of you that already hunt in a situation like this, you'll be able to relate. And for those of you that have been maybe thinking about trying it, you really should. Maybe I can convince you today with this video to give something like this a try as far as deer hunting goes. So, the first reason, and probably the most important in my mind, why I choose to hunt during the gun season in that big woods wilderness type setting is because we can get away from other hunters. And that's really, really important to us. It's really a special thing where we go. And oftentimes in these big woods wilderness type settings, you have real low deer densities and the hunting is pretty tough. So there's definitely drawbacks. It's not for everybody, but by sacrificing some of those deer numbers, you eliminate a lot of the hunters. And so there's something really rewarding about being able to go back into these same areas year after year. You get to learn the landscape, super remote. You don't run into any other hunters back there. And that's really important to us. I mean, having that solitude, that stillness in the woods on a prime November morning, to us, that's worth its weight in gold, honestly, versus having, people coming by or you're bumping elbows at a parking lot in the dark trying to beat somebody back onto a ridge. That's huge to us, and probably the most important reason why I like going to those big woods wilderness areas. The second reason why I like to hunt in a big woods wilderness area is because you always have that chance at a really old buck. In these areas, a lot of these deer have maybe never seen a human before. And I realize throughout the country, it's different on where you're at. There's lots of public land or heavy cover chunks that have a lot of hunters on it. We have that here in Minnesota too. The closer you get to population centers, public land gets really busy. But when you get into those real remote areas, the age structure of the bucks is a lot older. And we have the luxury here where we're at to be able to hunt a buck that's 4, 5, 6 years old, maybe older. We don't know, but big bucks. I mean, in our camp, it's not uncommon for somebody to drag a 200-pound field dressed buck out of the woods. I mean, those are just some really big specimens, and we're lucky to have that. And that's something you get with the big woods. Although it's lower deer densities, you have that shot at a big one always when you're out there. Sorry for the brief interruption, but winter's almost here. And if you're someone who has young trees on your property that you need to protect from deer browse, you should check these out. They're called browse blockers. You just grab the top growth candle and branch whorl of the tree like this to pull the browse blocker over it. You clip it on, then you leave it like this through fall, winter, and spring. After spring green up, take the net and clip off and save them because you can use them multiple seasons as this tree grows taller. This tree won't get browsed as long as this net is on it. If this is something that you think could help you out this year, you can check them out at browseblocker.com. And when you go to check out, say that you saw this on YouTube, and my dad will throw in 10 free browse blockers and clips on top of whatever you order. The third reason why we like hunting in a big woods wilderness setting is because the bucks actually need to travel farther to find different doe groups. To go from doe zone to doe zone, he's got to cover miles of ground through rugged wilderness, clear cuts, beaver swamps, flowages, mature cover, things like that. He's going cross country to try to go from doe zone to doe zone, and that's how we try to intercept them. Our style is more of an elevated tree stand in a rut funnel during the peak of the rut hunting style. And everybody does it different. Doesn't mean we're right. That's just how we like to do it up there. I know some guys will go after a specific buck and try to find his specific beds. We don't really do that up at our camp. But those bucks are really going cross country. They're really putting on miles during the rut. That's a big benefit. If you compare that to a super high deer density area, in ag country or mixed ag or semi-urban, there's does everywhere, right? The bucks don't have to go that far, so that is a benefit to being in that real low deer density, big woods wilderness type setting. All right, a fourth reason why we like hunting up there in the big woods is it gives you that woodsmanship aspect that you don't really get, or it's tougher to get if you're hunting near a food plot or a cornfield or something like that. I'm not trying to knock those things. I do that myself. As you guys know, I own private land by our home here. I put in food plots every year and I love it. I have so much fun doing it. But I am really manipulating the deer's travel movements, right? I'm telling them exactly where the food is, and I'm improving the bedding area here, so I pretty much know exactly where they're going back and forth. Heavy manipulation in that case. In the big woods wilderness setting, you're going after those deer in their truest element, their most natural state, the way they live and relate to and move around the landscape in a real scattered and low quality and kind of random distribution of food, and then bedding cover everywhere. But it gives you being back in a wilderness spot like that, um, reading the woods, reading the sign, and putting yourself in a position to intercept that deer gives you that sense of fulfillment and gratification as a hunter, being able to target those deer in their truest element. It's just really rewarding, and it's just different. So again, I love the food plot thing, and I do that, and I'm not trying to knock it, but it's just a different sort of reward that you can get by truly learning and trying to become a woodsman. Plus, you're back at camp with the guys, and it's really fun. And it's really like a vacation back there. Somebody gets a buck and it's hanging on the meat pole. It's such an incredible feat when you do it. In this setting, it's just a different kind of reward that you can't get anywhere else. Now, the fifth reason why I really love hunting in the big woods is because you can accommodate a lot of hunters. So if you have friends and family that you want to deer hunt with, oftentimes in those big woods, usually public land type settings, you can get a whole bunch of people back there, and there's plenty of space for everybody to find good hunting spots. If you compare that to, say, an 80-acre piece, they're so hard to get in the first place, private land, with food plots and all that. How would you hunt 6, 8 guys or gals in a given 80 acres? It's tough. And I realize some people have more private land and less, and it all varies. But that's something that I've been lucky to do, is grow up in a situation where my dad and his friends started this kind of remote wilderness deer camp years ago. They kept it going now, and my brother and I get to come with every year with family friends, and it truly feels like deer camp when you go up there. And that's really special. And in my mind, that's just really important with trying to get people into the sport and keep them in the sport. Now, it's not all peaches and roses in the big woods. You will have a lot of trying days out there in those low deer densities. There's a reason why it's not crawling with other deer hunters, right? The hunting is tough. You're not going to see a lot of deer. And so for some folks, especially if you've been used to the high deer density thing, it would be tough to make the transition to the big woods. But if it's something that you've ever pondered, you really should try it. And I think you'll find that solitude aspect of it and that potential for that big older age class buck. I mean, those are really appealing factors in my mind. But it's not always perfect. There's many years people go home empty-handed at our camp, myself included. You're not always going to score every year on a big buck. It's just one of those things that you got to work really hard at it. You got to put a lot of time and effort into it. And when it does pay off, when you do connect, it's really incredible, the payoff, and it makes it all worth it. If you enjoyed the video at all, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up on it. That helps out small channels like mine. Think about subscribing to this channel if you're interested in content like this. Fall is almost here. I'm going to have a lot more videos coming out on public land, big woods, and just general whitetail strategies. So until next time, take care, and I will catch you guys on the next video.